Okay. Because I have not covered variable, and this variable is going to be used while doing the examples and doing the automation using the sequence file. Okay, so we'll see what is sequence in the. We have already seen what is sequence. So now we'll discuss about variable. Okay, and then we'll proceed accordingly. So before going to start the session, all of you also open your UiPath Studio so that you can also do the examples, as well as you can also see all the things which I am going to discuss here. So please open your UiPath Studio, those who have already installed. So meanwhile, let it be open. I am going to discuss the variable. So what is variable basically? So unlike other languages, variable process of creation, the variable in the UiPath for the robotics process automation is different. Here we have a variable panel located in the UiPath Studio at the bottom of our Live Studio console. So I will show you all how we can create the variable. So actually we have various methods to create the variable. So before going to creation of the variable, just let me define the variable. So what is variable? So this is very important. So variable are containers that can hold multiple entries of the same data type. Okay, so variable can be defined as the container which is used to hold the multiple data entry, and that data entry may be integer variable, okay, date time variable, array variable, or that may be anything. Okay, but the thing is only that all the data type should be same. If you are creating any variable, if you want to store one variable or more than one variable, in case of one variable there is no issue of the same data entry. But in case of more than one variable, if you want to store more than one variable, then in that case we have to take the use of array, and that all the entries in that particular array should be of same type. Okay, so variable is defined as the container. Again, I'm repeating, that is used to store the data entry of the same data type. Okay. So again, the value of variable can also be changed through an external input, data manipulation, or passing from one activity to another. So this is the basic definition of variable. Variable may also be defined as the name associated with any value that may change. Okay, as its name suggests, variable. So its name may be changed. Okay, in UiPath Studio, variables are basically of different types and used to store multiple types of data, ranging from generic value, text, number, data table, time, and date. Okay. So once after finishing the theoretical portion, once I will discuss the practical portion, or you can say the hands-on session, then there I will show you all how we can will take some examples of number variable, text variable, okay, and date time variable, and then we'll see how all this variable basically works and how we can create this variable in the UiPath Studio. Okay. So in short, if I want to summarize the definition of variable, so how we can define? So variable may be defined as the any name, a symbolic name that is used to store the data. Okay, and that data may be provided by the user or by the person who is working on that particular automation project or the example. Okay, so this is basic definition of variable. So this is used to store the data. Okay, so in short, if I want to define, so in very simple language, I can define as the variable used to store the data. Okay, and that data may be ranged from generic value and then text, number, data table, and time and date. So this is about the definition of variable. So now I'm going to show you how we can create the variable in the UiPath. Okay. So for creation of variable in UiPath, actually we have different methods. Okay. So we'll discuss all those methods one by one. So first, I will show you this is I have created a project with the name variable underscore argument. Okay. And you can see here, this is the location of this particular project which I have created with the name variable underscore project. So the location is the C drive, users, student, documents, UiPath. So in this way, you can also check the location of your project in your system. Okay, and this, here you can add the description. Okay, for this complete for the project which you have created. So this is up to you whether you want to give some description or not. Just going to leave it blank. Okay. So the description I'm not going to change here. So by default, it will be the blank process. Okay, so once we create the project, we basically have three options. One is the name that we have to provide as per our requirement. Okay, and the second is the location. Okay, location is you can see here that location is by default fixed. But if you want to change the location, then we can also change by providing the path. Okay, and the third is the description, and that this description should be as per the project, so that it should reflect the project on which we are working basically. Okay, so just wait a moment so let it be open. So meanwhile, you also open your UiPath Studio so that you can see all those panel and everything. Okay. So it is taking time, no problem. So just let me show you the PPT of the variable panel. So you can see here, once we'll open this. So uh, as the name suggests, what is variable panel basically? So as its name suggests, the variable panel UiPath is used to create variables. Okay, and enable us to make changes to them. So with the help of variable panel, we create the variable, and basically variable panel have some certain fields like name, field, variable type, scope, and defaults. And from there we have to provide the name. And for the naming of the variable, we also have some certain convention, naming convention. We'll also discuss that naming convention. And as per our requirement and application, we have to define the type of variable, whether it is a number variable, okay, or the text variable, or like generic, or whatever will be the type of variable. We have to choose that particular type from the drop down list of the variable panel. So this is the screenshot that I have taken from the UiPath Studio. So once it will be open, I will show you all. So your variable, once variable panel will be open, it will look like this, and we'll get the four different fields under this variable panel. Here the four fields are basically name field, type, scope, and default. And we'll discuss all those fields one by one. It is taking time. I don't know why. So So in the above screenshot that I have taken from the UiPath Studio panel, we can notice that we have 4 different type of fields. Okay, so those fields are name field. Okay, if you have opened the variable panel in your UiPath Studio, then you can see easily. You will get the 4 different fields in the variable panel, and that fields are basically name. Okay, that is the name of variable. Then second is the variable type. Third is the scope, and fourth one is the default field. If you want to, and this particular default field used in that case, basically it is used in case of like integer or number variable, where you want to provide some default value to the our variable. Okay. So these are the 4 fields, and each fields are important, and we have to use all those fields as per our requirement. So name field is a mandatory field. Okay, and we must have to give a name to variable. Suppose if you are not giving any name, then UiPath Studio will generate one automatically, and it is recommended that we must follow the naming convention. Okay, so we'll see what is the naming convention, and we must provide the name to our variable so that it should reflect the again it should reflect the example or the project on which we are working, on which the person who is dealing with the automation is working. Okay. So if you do not give any name to the variable, then what happens? UiPath Studio will automatically generate some random name. Okay, not random name. I will show you what will be the name that will be generated automatically, and that name is going to be assigned as the variable name. Okay, so that would be it would be better for us to recognize that we have to create the name of the variable itself rather than it would be created by the studio. Okay, so okay, it is open now. So here what is this? This is the main panel, or you can see the designer panel. And the bottom of this panel we are getting 3 different panel again. This is the variable panel, argument panel, and this is import panel. Okay, so now in this particular session we are discussing the variable and arguments. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how the variable panel will be opened. Okay, so just I will click here on the variable panel, and the panel will be open like this. And you can see here we are getting the 4 fields that I have discussed, like name, type, scope, and default, and all those fields are disabled here. You can see here it is disabled in disabled mode. It will be only enabled once we'll drop some activity here. So for an example, if I will drop some here input dialog activity here. So now you can see uh, now you can see this variable panel has been enabled. Okay, now we are getting the option of create the variable option. Okay, so again this is the type. Okay, and by default the type of any variable is the string type. Okay. And then again scope. And what is scope? So we'll discuss all those fields one by one. I'm just showing you the how the variable panel will be opened and how it will be all the fields will be enabled. Okay, so that we can open the variable panel from the bottom of the designer panel where this variable has been written. Okay, and this variable then all the 4 fields of the variable will be enabled only when once we drop some activity in the designer panel. So now I'm going to discuss all those fields one by one. So naming I've already discussed. That is the name. What is name field? Name is the basically the name of the variable that we have to we have created. Okay, and it is mandatory or not, or what we can say, it is mandatory or it is highly recommended that we have to follow the naming convention for the creation of any variable. Okay, so we'll discuss what is that naming convention one by one. Okay, then second is the type. After the name field, the second field is the variable type, and it is also a mandatory field which enables us to choose the type of variable. Okay, so depending upon the type of variable on which we are working, whether it is again boolean, uh, the variable type may be the boolean. Okay, it may be the integer type, the string type, object, generic field, array, or some other variable type that we can browse from the properties panel, and we can choose the type of the variable. Okay, so this is not as difficult. So it is very easy, and if you are working on any variable, then we can easily recognize what type of variable is that, and then depending upon the type you can choose that particular type from the variable type drop down list. Okay. So now come the scope field. What is scope field? Again, it is also a mandatory field, and it shows basically the area in which the variable is available. Okay, so here scope is very important. So please listen very carefully. So basically, what is a scope? Scope basically defines the area where your variable is going to be available, or we can say where the variable is going to be used. Okay. So for an example, if you choose the type of file is sequence file. In this particular case, you can say see here. So this is the sequence file, and the sequence file there is a one input dialog activity. Okay. So suppose that I am going to drop one more input dialog activity here. So what I am doing here, I am just connecting two input dialog activity, and suppose that I am going to create two different variable. Okay, for one for this first input dialog and second for this second input dialog. So all this variable that I have created inside this two different activities, basically inside this sequence file. So that sequence file is the scope where this variable is going to be available. Okay, we cannot use this variable out of the sequence file. Okay, are you getting my point? So it doesn't depend. We can connect more than one or two number of activity inside a sequence file or state machine or flowchart, but that particular variable is not going to be used outside that file in which that activity is located. Okay, so this is the key point. So in this particular case, if we create any variable, that particular variable is going to be only utilized inside this particular sequence file, and this is what the sequence. Okay. So while defining the sequence of any variable, that should be the maximum, or that should be the maximum your file in which your particular all those activity are created. Okay. So this is what about scope. I think you all able to understand this. So next comes the default field. So this is an optional field, and it shows the default value of a variable. For example, if you want to assign any variable, if the variable type is integer, and if you want to assign any value to that particular variable, then we can use this default field, and you can provide the default value to that particular integer variable. Okay. So this is about the default. This is about all the four different type of field for the variable creation. So out of the four fields, again I'm summarizing those four fields. Out of the four fields, the three fields like the name field, type field, variable type field, and the third scope field is the mandatory field, but the default field is the optional field, and that is depend upon the application whether we want to utilize that particular default field or not. Otherwise, we can leave the default field as the blank field. Okay. So this is all about the variable panel, and they are different types. So now we'll discuss all those. We'll discuss some different type of variable. Okay, and then we'll start the. Then we'll start the understanding the naming convention, and then we'll see the example. Okay. So till now, if is there any query or any doubt? Any query? Anybody, if you want to ask? Okay, no problem. So if there is no query, then we'll proceed. So I'm going to discuss the different types of variable. So what is the different types of variable that I've listed here? The first is the text variable. As its name suggests, these are the such type of variable which can store only strings. Okay. For example, if you want to store information like name, last name, username, or some other text, then we have to use the text variable. Okay, and in that case, the type of the variable should be the string variable. Boolean variable. The next comes the Boolean variable, and these all the different type of variable are actually there in the UiPath Studio. I will show you also. So Boolean variables are those variable where, like true or false type variable, and it has only two possible value, either true or false, or we can say 0 or 1. Next is the integer variable. As its name suggests, such kind of variable can store only integer, okay, or integer int 32 value, that is integer information, and these variables are also known as the number variable. Okay, so these variable are used to store numbers, that should be the like 0, 1, 2, 3 or any digits. So next is the array variable. If you want to store multiple value of the same type, okay. Again, I have also discussed this at the beginning of the variable. So if you want to store multiple value of the same type, then we can use the array variable, and that would be suitable for storing the multiple value of the same type. And in that case, we have to select the array from the variable type to store the multiple data of the same type. Okay, and how we can select this? We have to select this from system.data type. Okay, and you can see you'll find this system.data type once you browse from the drop down list of the variable type. Okay, and this is used to store multiple value of the same data type. Okay, again so again, the next variable type is the list, and this is again used to store multiple value of the same data type. But the major difference between this array and the list is that the list is dynamic, whether in the case of array we have to define the size of the array. Okay, so this is the difference. The list is dynamic, whether the array is the fixed size. Okay, the next is the dictionary. Okay, and how we can select the dictionary from the variable type? We have to select the system.collection.generate.dictionary. Okay, and in creation of the dictionary, we have to use the keys and value for storing the information. Okay. So this is all about the variable, some different variable type. Okay. So now we'll discuss naming convention. So that is important. We have to follow certain naming convention for creation of the variable. Okay. While working in UiPath, we have to assign names to workflow file, okay, activity, arguments, and variable. And the naming convention that I'm going to discuss here will be applicable for all those things, whether we want to define the naming convention for variable or for the workflow file or activity or argument. It is going to be applicable for all the things. And again, I'm repeating the same thing, that naming convention is recommended, whether it is not kind of that if you not follow this naming convention, then there is going to be error. Okay, this is not such type of. This is up to you, and this is recommended that we have to follow this naming convention. But if we do not follow this naming convention, then error is not going to become. Okay, but while creation of the any variable or workflow files, we have to follow this naming convention. Okay. And the main reason behind the naming convention is that it gives a meaningful logic, that it gives a meaningful logic to the variables or as well as the workflow files. Okay. So what is the naming convention that I am discussing? So the variable name must be in upper camel case. Okay. What is upper camel case? Suppose that example, I have quoted two different example here. So suppose that if you create a variable with the name first name, so this particular variable is in the upper camel case. So what is upper camel case? In case of upper camel case, we have two different words, and there is no space between those two words. And the first and the middle, and the first letter of the first word and the second letter of the second word is in the upper case. You can see here this first name. Okay, and this first name has basically two words, first and name, and there is no space between the first and name. Okay, and the uh, first word is first, and the first letter is F in capital or uppercase, and similarly the first letter of the second word N is in the upper camel case. So this is known as the upper camel case naming convention. And similarly, you can also see here this last name. This is again a second variable that I have taken as example. So this is also in the upper camel case. So what is upper camel case? So for creation of any variable in upper camel case, we have to use two different words. Okay, and all in the first letter of the first word and the first letter of the second word should be in the upper case, yeah, capital letter, and there should be there should not be any space between those two letters. Okay. And this naming convention is also applicable for arguments also. So once I will discuss the argument, okay, there we can also use the same naming convention, or you can say the upper camel case. Okay. So suppose that if in your assessment exam, if any questions come like this, so what is the naming convention, and you will have some one or two options, then upper camel case will be the right answer. Okay. So, what is the logic behind naming the workflow file or your variable? So, the main logic for the naming convention is that it should reflect the action taken. Okay. So, suppose that if you want to greet somebody or some user with the name, so what we'll do, we'll create one input dialog box, and then we'll connect one message box below that particular input dialog box. Okay. So to store the name of that particular user, okay, will create one variable. Okay, so that variable is basically taking the input from the user as the name. So what we'll do, we'll create the variable with the name, first name or the last name, so that it should reflect the action taken. That means we are taking the name of the user and storing that particular name in the variable. Okay, so just by seeing that particular variable name, that first name, it would reflect automatically, and anybody can see who's looking into that particular example or into the project. You can easily understand that it is talking about the taking the name from the user. Okay, so it should reflect your the action that basically taken, or it should reflect the things that is basically discussed. Okay. And again, the workflow name should have to be like verb that describe the working of the workflow. Example, if you are taking a screenshot or any process translation, then it should be as per the like working of the workflow. Okay, so these are the like logic behind, or you can say that these are the main like reason behind naming some variable as well as the workflow. Okay, in case of workflow, it should reflect the working of the workflow, and in case of activity, while creation of the variable, it should reflect the action taken. So these are the main logics, or you can say the reason behind the naming convention. And the third logic, or you can say the third reason, is that the proper naming of activities or variable, as well as in the case of argument that we'll discuss in the after this particular topic, reduce the effort to read and understand the project. Okay. So basically, if we use a proper naming convention, that is going to be reduce the your like effort to read and understand that particular project or example. So this is the main reason. So now I am going to discuss the legal and some illegal variable, or you can say the what is valid or invalid variable. So, so for the creation of variable, we have to follow certain rules. Okay, so we can create the variable either in the upper camel case. Okay, if you are following the naming convention, but if you do not follow the naming convention, then this like DOP XYZ, okay, XYZ in one go, it's all is valid, or you can say this is a legal variable. Okay, and but this first name and the last name is the best suitable because it is following the naming convention. But however, if you do not follow the naming convention, again I'm repeating, then it is not going to be come any error. Okay, so again we can also use this my underscore name. This is also a legal variable, so I'm just going to like quote some illegal variable. We cannot create any variable with starting with numeric value. You can see here this first name and starting with 9 digit or integer is a illegal variable. That means we cannot use uh, any integer at the beginning for the creation of variable. This is very important. Okay. Again, we cannot use this dash character. We can use the underscore, but this dash character we cannot use. Again, we cannot provide any space between two different words. Okay. Suppose that if you want to create any variable with the name first name, and if you want to put any space between first and name, two different words, then it is going to become as the error. So I'm just going to show that. So you can see here, this is your variable panel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable here. So you can see here. So suppose that I'm first going to create a legal variable. So suppose that I am going to create a variable starting with integer. Then we'll see what is the warning is going to become. So suppose 9, same example, first name. Okay. So I have created a variable starting with integer. So we'll see that this is not going to be created, and we'll get a warning. Once I will hit the enter button, so you can see here we are getting the error like given name 9 first name is not a valid variable name. Variable name can contain only letter, digits, and underscore character. That means we can use the integer, but that should not be at the beginning of your variable name. Okay, so this is the case that we'll get as the warning. Okay, so I will just press here OK, and again let me create some different variable. So you can see here I'm creating again a variable first. I'm just giving the space between the first and name. Again, once I will hit the enter, we'll again get the error. That means we can also not provide the space between two different words. Okay, so that is the thing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a legal variable here. So first name. Okay, so you can see here, this is I have followed the naming convention, and there is no space between first and name, and that is going to be created. Okay, so that variable has been created. So you can see here. So now the variable has been created. So for creation of variable, I'm just going to discuss the method. What you have to do, you have to select the activity, because we can create the variable only for a particular activity. So here the input dialog box is this here. So what I will do, I will just click on this input dialog and then open this variable panel. Okay. And then under this name, we have to create the variable. We'll get the option of creating the variable. So this is one of the method of creation of variable. I will also discuss some more methods that is more convenient and that is more practical for the creation of variable. Okay. So what is variable and how we can create variable, I have discussed, and again I'm going to summarize. So variable is used to store the data, and that data may be of different that data may be of different type depending upon our application. But if you want to store multiple data, then all those data must be same, and in that case we have to use the array or list. Okay, if the size is dynamic, then we can go for the list. Otherwise, if the size is fixed, then we have to use the array. So this is the complete summary about the variable. Now again, just let me show you the type. So here you can once we'll choose this drop down list. So you can see here we are getting the different type like boolean, integer, string, object. This is system.data, table, array, and we are also getting this option of browse for types. Okay, so once we click on this browse for types, so we will get the number of different type of variables. Okay, so you can see here we are getting the different types of variables. We are getting the numerous type of variable here. So these all are the different type of variable, and we can use this variable as per our requirement and convenience. Okay, so this is about the type, and again scope that I've already discussed. Since here we are using this input dialog activity inside this sequence file, therefore the scope should be the name of that particular file inside which the activity is located. So this is the scope, and this default value is will be left as blank, and that is will be utilized in the most of the cases where we are using the integer variable. Okay. So one more thing, if you forget to give that variable type, then the by default type will be the string variable. Okay, so the by default type is which is assigned by the UiPath Studio itself is the string variable, but we have to be cautious while giving the name, type, and scope. Okay, otherwise we are going to get the error. Okay, so this is about the like your variable type and naming convention in all these panels. So moving to the next topic, how we can create a variable. So So for the creation of the variable, we have to choose at least one activity that I've already discussed. Without choosing the activity, we cannot create the variable. Okay, that is logical also, because we create the variable to just store the data, and if we do not have any activity, that doesn't. So that simply means that we are not working on anything. So there is no need of storing the data. Okay, so we have to choose one activity. Okay, once we'll select one activity, and then we can create the variable from the variable panel. Okay, so so basically we have two different methods. So one methods I've already discussed. So that is from the variable panel. We have to choose the activity, and then we have to open the variable panel, and then we have to create the variable from the panel. Okay. The second method I'm going to discuss is the we can also use this control plus K. Okay. Suppose that I'm just going to again listen very carefully. This is very important. Suppose that this is your input dialog. So from the if I do not want to create the variable by using this variable panel, then how I can create? So here we have to create the variable. Suppose that I want to get name from the user. Okay, I want to know the first name of the user. So I'm going to create that. So dialog title will be like first name. Okay, that means I am asking about the first name of the user, and the input label, that is the question that you want to ask from the user, and that will be the what is your first name. What is your first name? I've already shown you all where this dialog title and input label will appear once we'll execute this file. Today also I will show you uh, what is your first name. Okay, and then input type, since this is a text type, therefore this will be in text type. And once the user will enter his name, then that has to be stored somewhere else. And for that we have to create the variable. And for the creation of variable, excuse me. So that particular entered value we have to store in the form of variable, and we can create variable here either just by going to this variable panel, or simply we can press the control and K from our keyboard. Okay, so mind here, I'm just putting the cursor here and then pressing the control and K simultaneously from the keyboard. So we'll get this option of set variable. Okay, so once we'll get the option of set variable, then we can provide the name of that particular variable. Since I'm asking about the first name, so I'm going to create the variable with the first and then name, and I'm following the naming convention of upper camel case. Okay, so I have created this variable. Now I'm going to press the enter. So it is showing that variable the same name already exists. Okay, no problem. That earlier I was created the variable, therefore it is showing. Let me delete this. Okay. So now again control and K, first name. Okay. So control K, once we press control and K, then set variable will appear. Okay. Then we can create, and this is the first name variable. Enter. So you can see here the variable has been created, where this once the user will provide the name, that is going to be stored in this particular variable. Okay. So this is the first example which I'm discussing under this sequence file and using the variable. Okay. So you can see here. You can see here. Once we'll open the properties panel. To open the properties panel, you can see here. Once you have to select this input dialog and the corresponding properties panel, you can open from here, or it will be open directly. Okay. So you can see here we are getting this option display name as the input dialog. Okay. We can also change this name of this display input dialog box, but I'm just leaving it as it is. Then label that we have given as the what is your name. Okay. And then whatever variable we have created here, that should be in the output. That means that should be stored in the result section. If you create the variable and that is not going to come out here, then that is not going to store your input provided by the user. Therefore, you have to be very careful while creation of the variable. Once you press the Control and K, and whatever you will write there, that is going to be automatically come into this result section. Okay. So if you that is not going to become whatever you write here, that is, it will not reflect here. That means there is something error. Okay, and you have to write by your own manually. You can also write manually here, but if you follow the control K properly, then that will be automatically stored in this result section. Okay. So let me again open the variable panel. Okay, you can see here the variable has been created. Okay, and the name is first name. Type is string, and that is by default type. And since the name is the string or text type, therefore I do not need to change this type. The scope is sequence. That is also fine. So let me minimize it. And again, I'm going to connect a message box here. Okay. Okay. So what I will write here, I will write here. The same variable. I'm going to print the same variable. So what I will do here, I will print the same variable. I'm not going to write anything. What I will do, I will simply display the name that will be provided by the user. Okay. So this is a very small example of displaying the name of the user. Okay. So this example we can consider as the displaying the name of the user, or you can say the displaying the input provided by the user. So here user has provided the input as the first name, so that I am going to simply like display with the help of message box. So just let me debug this. So debug has started. It will take some time, and then we'll get the output. So you can see here our execution has been done successfully, and we are getting the this as the what is your name, and that this is basically your label question, and this first name is the dialog title. Okay, so here you can say the dialog title that we have provided at the time of creation of this particular project or example, we are getting here at the first name, and then under this what is your first name, I'm just going to write my name itself, Ritesh. Okay, so this the name that basically, suppose that if I'm the user, then if I'm providing my name, then that once I will press the OK, then that particular name is going to be displayed with the help of message box. So you can see here. Okay, I've just pressed the OK, and we'll get okay. You can see here that particular Ritesh name is displayed with the help of message box. So this is about the using a variable. So this is very simple example. Okay, so now we will start with some more examples of the variable. So I think you all have understood how we can create the variable, okay, and how we can provide the naming convention, and how the that particular variable is going to store the value provided by the user. Okay, is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So, okay. So basically, whatever we are doing here, basically these are the bots, and once we'll be in the topic of orchestrator, when the orchestrator will be discussed. So there it will be like discussed how we can publish this bots. Okay. So there will be different type of bots will be discussed, and how we have to publish. All this thing will be covered in the orchestrator topic. But these basics are very important, and without understanding these basics, we cannot move ahead, and we cannot be able to understand the coming sessions. So we have already discussed and seen one example of creation of variable. and displaying with the help of message box. Now we'll see how we can remove the variable. Okay, so how we can remove the variable, for that again we'll discuss two methods. The one method is to go to variable panel, and then we have to right click the variable that we have created or that we want to delete. And once we right click, we'll get the option. Okay, and from there we have to select the delete option, and that particular selected variable will be created. Okay, so this will be the one of the option. And the second method will be go to variable panel and select the variable that you want to delete. Now press delete directly from the keyboard, and that will be deleted. Okay, so we will get two different methods. Either we can delete by right clicking and selecting directly delete from uh, the pop-up window or itself, and the second we can use select the variable and then simply press the delete from the keyboard. That is also going to work. Okay, so I'm just going to show that. So this is the example in which I have created the variable with the name first name. So I'm going to discuss this first method. So this is the R variable. So uh, not right click. We have to select this variable. Okay, and then left click, and we are getting this option. Okay, like convert to argument. Okay, and then delete and all these things. And it simply I will select this delete, and this variable has been deleted. Okay, so you can see here the variable which I have created with the name first name that has been deleted. So we have for deletion of any variable, we have to open the variable panel. Okay, and then we have to delete from with the help of mouse by clicking on the left button and then choosing the delete option. So this is the method. So now we'll discuss some examples, and then after that we'll discuss argument. Okay, argument topic. So since yesterday, in the yesterday session, while discussing the sequence, I could not explain more examples due to this variable, because without understanding variable, it was not possible at that time. So yesterday we have seen only some small examples. So today we'll see the example of sequence with the help of variable. So suppose that this is the example which I'm going to be performed. Which I'm going to create with the help of variable, and that example is we have to create a file, sequence file, and that basically going to ask from the user about the first name and the last name and his hair color. Okay, so basically in the previous example that I have discussed, in that particular example, what I have done, I have created only one input dialog box, because I have to take only one input from the user. Okay, but in this particular example, what I have to do, I have to ask basically three different inputs from the user, like his first name, last name, and his hair color. So we have to connect three input dialog box. So as many number of inputs you want to ask, sorry, you want to ask from the user, you have to connect those many number of input dialog box. Okay. We have to connect those many number of input dialog box. So is it clear? So in this particular example, we have basically we have to get three different inputs from the user, and that are name, first name, last name, and his hair color. So we have to take three different input dialog box, and we have to connect all those in linear succession, and then we have to create three different variable that can store the three different input provided by the user, and then we have to display with the help of a message box the first name, last name, and his hair color. Okay, so that is the example, and now I'm going to uh, do that particular example. So what I will do, I will create one more sequence file here. Okay, so I'm just going to create here. So this is a, so in this particular example, we have to use three different input dialog box. So I'm going to drop here three different input dialog box. First will be the First will be for the user first name. So the title will be like first name. Okay. Input label will be like what is your first name. Okay, and then here we have to create the variable to store the first name. Again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create press Control and K. So this Control K for the variable creation is the like the most used method, because that is going to create the variable as well as that is going to store the variable in the result section, and that is the main important thing. Okay? Because if the created variable is not going to store in this output of result section, then your input is not going to be saved or stored. So Control K set variable option is here. So this is the variable name, first name, enter. That is done successfully. And for this second input dialog box, what I have to know, I have to ask the last name. So last name will be the dialog title, and then input label will be what is your last name. Okay, and again we have to create the variable here. Control K. Okay, last name. Again, I have followed the naming convention. If you want to you create some variable with XYZ, we can also create, but that will not reflect the action taken. Okay, but we can store the input in the XY variable also. Okay, so this is done. And once we'll see, you can see here the last name is in the result of the properties panel. Okay, and the third is the hair color. So the title will be like hair color. Done. Then input label will be like what is your hair color. Done. And then again variable, that is Control and K. Hair color. So again I have followed the naming convention, and this you can see here. This hair color is the result of this properties panel. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this variable panel. I'm just going to check. So I have created 3 different variable, and all those variable is basically appearing in this variable panel. First name, last name, hair color. Okay, and the type is string, and then sequence, scope is sequence. So that is fine. And since all these variables is going to store the text variable, therefore I'm not going to change the type. I've already discussed that by default type will be also in the string. Okay, so here we do not need to change the type, and the scope is fine because all these activities is dropped inside the sequence file. Okay, so that is good. So let's close this. Now to display all these 3 different inputs taken from the user, we have to connect one message box. So I'm going to connect message box here. Okay, so I'm going to write some text. So okay, here we'll understand the concept of concatenation. We'll see how we can concatenate a string and the variable. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So I will write the message as the my. So the string should be in the double quotes, and then for concatenation we have to use this plus, and to provide the space between 2 variable and then word, we have to use the double quotes again. My name, my, and I'm going to use the first name variable. Okay, this is okay, done. Then again plus, then again this, then instead of my, I'm going to write myself. Okay, then again plus, and then to provide this double quotes, and then again plus, and then again in the double quotes we have to write the message. So actually I want to write like myself and then my name and my hair color is. So the first name and last name will be automatically taken from the user input, and that will be displayed in this message box. Okay, so this is the message that I want to display. So myself, then this first name will be taken directly from the user with the help of variable. Then again last name will be taken from the user and will be taken from the last name variable, and then I am concatenating with the help of variable and string. So the string should be in the double quotes if you want to concatenate with the help of variable. Okay, so this is the key point. And to provide the space between two words, we have to use this double quotes between two plus sign. So these are the main two concept. Otherwise, all other things are very simple. And my hair color is hair color is my hair color is that will be taken from again variable hair color. Okay. So I have right. I have wrote the message that I want to display with the help of message box. So actually, I want to display the message as the my name and myself, and then name, and my hair color is, and then again the color will be from the variable. Okay. So is it clear to all of you? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just debug this. I'm going to save and then debug this. So here it is asking the first question, that is what is your first name. So I'm going to write my name, Ritesh. Ritesh. Okay, I will just hit the OK, and then it will ask the second question. What is your last name? That is RAO. Okay, and then what is your hair color? Okay, so you can see here all those input dialog activities executed in one by one. That what I have discussed in the earlier session and the sequence. Why it is called as the single block of activity, because all those activities executed in one by one in linear succession. Okay, the first activity executed first, and then the second, and so on, then third, and so on and so forth. Then what is your hair color? Yeah, suppose that if I'm writing here black, so that is done. So you can see here myself Ritesh Rao and my hair color is black. So this is the message that I want to get displayed with the help of message box, and my first name and last name, and this black is taken from the input or the variable that I have taken from the user. So I think this example of using more than one variable with the help of more than one activity is understood to all of you. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this way, we can use the variable in the sequence. Okay. So moving to the next example. So now moving to the next example, that is the number. but I'm just first going to discuss the step. So for that we have to use again the sequence file. Okay, then we can also rename it as per the project. Okay, so and then after that we'll connect the input dialog box. Okay, and that input dialog box, what we'll ask the current birth year of the user. Sorry, current, not current. We'll ask the birth year from the user. Okay, and then we'll store that particular birth year in a variable, and with the help of that variable, we'll calculate the current age. Okay, so now this is the example and this is the step that I have discussed. So for in this particular example, we are going to utilize the input dialog box, then assign activity, and then to display the current age, we are going to use the message box. So we'll use 3 different activities inside a sequence file for this particular example. Okay. So now again, let me open the file. And how we can open this file, I have already discussed in the yesterday session. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect this sequence input dialog. And since I want to rename this file here, okay, so that we can also learn how we can rename the workflow file. Okay, so this is the sequence. So once you open this properties panel, so you will get this properties panel, and from here we can change the name of this file. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the name as the age calculation. Okay, and again I have followed the naming convention. So you can see here this age calculation, the name of the sequence file has been changed from sequence 1, it is changed to the age calculation. Okay, so we can rename the activity as well as the workflow files. Okay. So now moving to the next step. The next step is to get the birth year of the user. So and what I'm going to create the dialog title as the birth year. Next is the label, and that will be the question. Okay, so what is birth year? What is your birth year? What is your birth year? Okay, then again we have to create the variable to store the birth year. So I'm going to create the variable with the birth year, but by following the naming convention. So that is done. So you can see here the birth year is stored in the result section of the this particular input dialog box activity. Now to calculate the birth year, okay, and we know that the birth year is in the integer. So what I have to do, I have to open this birth year, okay, variable panel, and we can see here the variable is birth year, but the type is string. So we have to change this string to integer because we know that the birth year cannot be the string value. Okay, so that I have done successfully. Now second, we have to connect the assign activity. I have already explained the assign activity. So here we are getting 2 different fields. One is the to field and second is the value field. So basically whatever value is going to be generated in this assign activity is going to be stored in this to field. That means again this whatever you will provide in the to field, that is going to be your variable because that is going to store the value from the value field of your assign activity. Is it clear? So what I will write here, I want to calculate the age. So suppose that for current age I want to subtract from 2021 minus birth year. So here it is birth year. So once I will do that, we'll get the current year, and then current year we have to store somewhere else. So here I will create a variable control K, okay, and I will going to write that is current age, or you can say the age. Okay, and here you can see here this 2021 minus birth year should be in the double quotes. So this is the, so this current age variable I have created again. The type of this variable, okay, should be integer, and you have to open the variable panel for that, and we can change from here type to integer. That is done, and again
Sir, can you repeat this assign part?
Okay, no problem. So you can see here in this assign, what I have done here, assign activity basically have two different fields. One is the to field, and the first field is known as the to field, and the value field is the second field. Here we are getting the equal sign. So whatever value you will get from the value field is will be stored in the to field, and again to store that particular we have to create a variable. So what I am going to do, I'm going to create a variable with the name current age, and I know that this current age is integer variable. Okay, therefore I will write here 2021 minus birth year without any double quotes. Okay, suppose that if you are creating this variable as the string variable, then this should be under double quotes. Okay, so this is the main point that you have to be keep in your mind. If you're creating any variable here in the to field with and the type of the variable is the string, then that should be in the double quotes. But if you're creating the variable and if that variable is integer, then the value field should not be under the double quotes. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the thing, and again you can check the created variable here in from the variable panel. So you have to use the control and K all the time for creation of the variable, but you have to also cross check from the variable panel whether the variable has been created or not. So you can see here I have changed the type as the integer type here. So now the current age has been calculated and that has been stored in this. And the third top part and the last part of this particular example, we have to connect a message box to display the current age. So what I will simply display, I'm simply going to display the current age. So this is the, so your bot has been created that will automatically calculate your birth current age. No, so not birth, that will automatically calculate your current age, and then that will be displayed from this message box. Okay, so save this and then debug this file. So what is your birth here? Suppose that for my case I'm going to write this 59, and then it is showing that 32 years old. Okay, so I'm 32 years old. So I'm just simply displaying the current age, but if you want to display some message or text along with this, suppose that if you want to display that I am 32-year-old, then you have to write like that. Then you have to again use the concatenation concept, string and variable. Then you have to write under double quotes I am, then current age, okay, and then plus, and then under double quotes year old. We can write and then that will be displayed. Okay, so that is not a big deal. The main thing is to understand this, how to use this assign activity and how to use this input dialog box and message box wisely, and how we can create the variable and then change the type. So this is the example of integer type, and hope you all understand easily. Hello, is it clear to all of? Hello, is it clear to all of?
Yes, sir.
If you want to display some only some like a substring from a string, then we have to use the function substring and then parenthesis. We have to provide the index value from where you want to get the message displayed. Okay, so suppose that if you write some name, suppose if I want to display only the first three letter of my name, then in that case, okay, I will use the substring function. Okay, and then I will provide the index value accordingly that I want to display, then that will be displayed. Okay, so for that case, I'm just going to show you all how we can use the substring function. Okay, so in this case, what we'll do again, we'll use the input dialog box assign activity. Okay, so basically, I'm going to showcase how we can use the substring function to print only the some certain portion of the string. So suppose that if you provide some string or text from, if you get some text or string from the user. Okay, and if you want to excuse me, if you want to only display some starting one or two letters or one or two letters from the end, then how you can use the substring function, that I'm going to discuss here. So first of all, we have to take this input dialog box. Okay, so here we have to take the text that I want to display in the as the only sub. If you want to display only some portion of that particular text, so here what I'm going to write. Here I'm going to write the dialog title as the text, simply text. Okay, we can write anything. Provide the input text message. Okay, and that particular will be stored in a variable and create the variable. I'm going to create a simple variable with the x. Okay, I'm creating the variable with the name x just to like quickly explain all this concept. So I have created the variable. Now I'm going to use the substring. So suppose that if user will enter the message as the like faculty, okay, and I want only first three letter of faculty to be displayed, then I have to use the substring and then indexing concept. Okay, indexing concept I think you all of know. So substring and then in parenthesis we have to use the indexing concept. So next, to use that particular substring function, we have to use the assign activity again, and under this assign activity we'll again get the value field and the to field. Okay, so after this equal sign, whatever you will get, this enter a VB expression, that is the value field. So again here what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide this x, that is the text that from which I want to get the substring, and then substring function. Okay, so once you write this substring, you get this 0, 3. Suppose that I want only to display only first three letters, so I will use the start index, then end index 0, 3. 0 and 3 means we'll get only the letters whose index value will be 0, 1, and 2. So I think this is understood to all of you. And then I will create here the variable which will store the value y. Okay. Done. That is the variable. Okay, you can again check the variable created, that is x, y, and the type is sequence. As type is string, that is fine. Scope is sequence 2, that is also fine. So now what I am going to do, I am going to connect a message box. Message box will display the only y variable, since I want to know, I want to check the first three letters. So this is done. We'll save this and then debug this particular file. So provide the input text. So I'm going to write faculty, and since we have used substring concept and that under parenthesis we have provided 0 to 3, that means what we are going to get, we are going to get only FAC as the output in the form of y variable. Okay, and that will be displayed with the help of message box. Okay, so press OK, and you can see we are getting only FAC. Okay, so I think this is clear to all of you. So depending upon the number of letters that you want to displayed with the help of substring function, we have to use this substring function. Under parenthesis we have to provide the index value. Index value means the starting index and the end index. Okay, so the end index is never included. Okay, so this is excluded basically. So we'll get the letters from 0, index will be 0, 1, and 2. Okay, and here to use the substring function, we have to provide the variable from which you want to get the index letters. Okay, so is it clear to all of you? Is this example clear to all of you? How to use the substring function?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir. I have one question.
Yes.
Whenever I enter the value as x, it is showing the exclamatory mark for every time, sir. For x also, for y also. It is showing the error called as a compilation error. Can you help me?
Compilation error.
Yeah, sir.
That may be due to the variable creation. Okay, so are you using this control and K option?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So that should not be there. So again create some different file and then again use, because you can
Yes.
see here I'm doing the same but I'm not getting error. Okay, so
Yeah,
that
sure,
should
sir.
not be there. One more thing you can check. You can check the corresponding properties panel. You check whether the created variable is stored in the result section or not.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
so you can see here in my case that variable has been created in the result section also, this X, and again
Yeah.
assign activity. Here it
Yes.
is, we are getting as the Y. Okay,
Okay. Thank you,
so,
sir.
and you can also check while launching the UI Path Studio whether you have select the option of VB or C Sharp. Okay,
Sure,
so
sir.
that is also going. So that are two, three things that you will check. Then your error will be removed. Okay.
Done, sir. Thank you so much.
Though by default, once you launch the UiPath Studio, your by default will be VB. Okay, so once that will be in VB, then that is fine. Otherwise, you can like double quotes. You can add double quotes on all the things. Then the error will be, I think, removed.
Sir, whenever I debug my file or run my file, I got a message, use interactive login.
What you are getting?
Use interactive logging.
Interactive login.
Yes, sir.
Interactive login. So that may be due to the like upload some error in uploading this exe file. So whether you have properly downloaded that from UiPath Studio and that you have provided the current email ID,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
your proper correct email ID.
Yes, sir. But I think I have to go ahead.
So in yesterday's session, the second session, the installation process has been discussed. However, once you go to the UiPath Studio, there you have to choose the stable version, and then once you choose the stable version and download the exe file, that file is around 491 MB or something else. Okay, so or 500 MB, and then once you launch that, then you will get one blue color page. Okay, and then under blue color page, you will get the sign in option, like you will get some sign in cloud option, and under that you will get the more options. So you have to click on the more option, then you have to again select the community version, and then you have to install. Okay, so I think the installation, there may be some problem in the installation.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
So we have already discussed the string variable. We have taken two different examples of string variable, number variable. Now moving to the third example, that is the date time variable. Okay, so this is the date time variable. So in this date time variable, again, like in the previous example, we have used the substring function. Here you will use the now function. Okay. So what is now function? So now function, once we use with this parenthesis or without parenthesis, that depend on the VB or C Sharp again. So in some case, we have to use this now with parenthesis. And if you do not using VB, then you have to use now without parenthesis. So that you can check what you have select the language at the beginning of launching this UiPath Studio. Okay. So once you use this now function, then that will basically gives you the current date and time from your system. So suppose that what is RPA, that I have already discussed, but in short I'm going to. So this RPA is basically the automation for the desktop, all the desktop applications. So suppose in some particular application, if you are working like, if you want to get the current date and time in some application from a system, then in that case you have to use this now function. Okay. So where this now function can be used, suppose that if you want to make an auto bot or robot, and that bot is going to automatically provide the steps for like ticket booking in some bus or railway, and suppose that there is some time frame of that before like 10 p.m. You cannot book the current ticket or the car ticket. Okay, so in that case what we have to do, we have to use this now function to get the current time from the system, so that the bot can recognize that the current time is not 10 a.m. so that And the bot can block the Tatkal ticket booking. Okay. So is it clear? The application of this now function is clear to all of you. So the now function is may be used in many applications where we want to get the current date and time from your system to check, to provide some checkpoint to the user, okay, or to provide some security to the user. So the now function main requirement is that. So how to use the now function to get the current date and time from a system, that I'm going to explain again in this particular. We have to use the sequence file, okay, and then we have to use a assign activity, and then we'll create a variable that will store the current date and time, okay. So that I'm going to explain. So again, create a new file, create this, okay, that is done. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create this assign activity. Again, you can see here we are getting two different fields. One is the to field and another is value field. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this now function, and to store this current date and time using this now function, we have to use some variable, and I'm going to create that variable as the date time variable, okay. So sorry, control and K, and then date time, that variable has been created, enter, that is fine. Again, from the browse here, we have to select the type as the date time variable. So what I'm going to select that date time. So here we have to select the date time. Okay. So you can see the warning has been removed because the date time variable type I have selected as the date time. Okay. So once you'll browse here, will not get the date time variable in the this drop down list. So you have to select on this browse for types, and then you have to search for date time. Okay. So you will, from there you have to select the type. Okay. Now what I will do, I will simply print this current date and time with the help of message box. And what I will write here, I will write here date time. Okay. So now I'm going to save this and then run this. So you can see here we are getting the current date time, that is date is 18th of May and the time is 10 a.m. 56 minutes and 38 seconds. So this is the current date and time from, that is this now function is fetching from the system. So is it clear to all of you? So this is the use of now function. Now suppose that if you want to display or if you want to get only the current date instead of the time, so what we can do in that case, we have to, like, suppose that I'm again going to connect a message box and then date time variable, and I want that only to print the date. So in that case, I have to write to short. Okay. So for that we have to use the to short date string. Okay. So in this case, okay, in this case, what we'll get only the date, but will not get the time. Okay. So here you can see, first I have used the assign activity, then now function, then this is message box. So the first message box will display both date and time, and then once we press OK, then we'll get only date. Okay. So save this and again execute this. So the first you can see this is both date and time, and this is the output of the second message box, that is displaying only the date because I have used here to short date string. That means the variable date time, I have shorted the variable date time on the basis of date string only. Okay. So we are getting here the date only 18th of May. Similarly, if you want to only display only the time, then what I can do, I have to again use the variable. Okay. So first connect this message box and again use that particular variable date time. Okay, that is done, and then dot to short time string. Okay, we have to select here. So to short time string, and again save, and then once you run this, here we are getting this date and time, then we are getting date with the help of second message box, and again once I pressing OK, we are getting the time. So you can see the time is 10:58. Okay, so this is how the now function is used to get the current date and time, and on the basis of sorting we can also sort on whether on the basis of date or on the basis of time. So I think this is clear to all of you. So this is all about the sequence and variable. I have tried to explain in very detail from the basic definition till the using a very different variable types, how we can create the variable, how we can delete. So I hope you all have understood very easily. But however, if you have any doubt, then you can ask at the last, like at the end of the session. And then after this variable and sequence, we'll discuss the argument. Okay. So that is the last topic for the today's session. So coming to the argument, what is argument? So is everything clear in variable topic? Is it fine? If you have any doubt, then you can ask.
Yes.
However, we have also provided the content on the e-content portal. Okay, so you can go there and you can check. Okay, and in case of any problem, you can ask in the next session or whatever at the end of this today's session itself. Okay, so argument. What is argument? So I have already shown you where the arguments panel located. So the argument panel is located at the bottom of the designer panel, besides the variables panel. So again, this arguments panel is resembles similar to the variable, but it is different. Okay, like the variable is also used to pass the data, to store the data. One more thing, I forgot to explain about the variable. Just let me show you. So this is our variable. This is one example where we have created one variable with the name date time. So variable is basically used to store the data provided by the user as well as provided by the somewhere else. In this case, that particular data is provided by the system itself, and that data we are getting with the help of now function. So this now function is fetching the current date and time, and that particular current date and time is basically storing in this date time variable. Okay, so this date time variable is used to store the current date and time. So this is one of the example or definition of this variable. But apart from storing the information or data, one more definition is also there for the variable. The variable is also used to pass the data from one activity to another within a single file. So here it is our single sequence file. That is the name of the file is sequence3. Okay, and that date time variable that I have created inside this assigned activity also passing the data from this activity to this message activity. That's why that particular current date time is displaying as the output. Okay, so are you getting my point, or all of you are getting my point? That means apart from storing the data, it is also passing the data to the next activity or the next activity in which I want to utilize that particular data. But the constraint is that it cannot pass the data date time variable from this sequence 3 to the sequence 2. You can see here at the top I have created number of sequence file like sequence 1, sequence 2, sequence 3. Okay, so sequence 3, this date time variable can be only utilized only inside the sequence 3 file. It cannot be used from sequence 3 to sequence 2. That means suppose that if you are working on a very large project and we have created like such like different file sequence 1, 2, 3, and if you want to pass the value from sequence 3 to sequence 2, then you cannot pass that with the help of variable. For that you have to use the argument. Okay, so this is the major difference. Okay, so variable used to pass the data from one activity to another within a single workflow, but argument is used to pass the data from one workflow file to another workflow file. In my case, if I want to pass the data from sequence 3 to sequence 2 or sequence 3 to sequence 1, I have to use the argument, but I cannot use the variable. Okay, so is this clear to all of you, definition of the argument? So, hello? So the definition of argument is like this. Argument is used to pass the data from one workflow file to another. Okay, and again we have to use the argument as per the different type of fields. So let me show you the panel so that we can easily understand. So this is our argument panel. We can see here. Then we are again getting 4 different fields: name, direction, type, and default value. Okay. So here we are not getting the scope because this scope is irrelevant here because argument is used to pass the data from one workflow to another. So here we are getting the direction. Okay, so why we are getting the direction? Like suppose that if you want to utilize that particular argument only inside only inside a single workflow file, then we have to choose the direction as the we have to choose the direction as the in out. So basically, I will show you. We have different type of direction like in direction. Yogesh Gavli sir, please mute your audio. It is creating disturbance. So argument used to pass the data from one workflow to another workflow, or you can say the one file to another file. And again, the type of argument is similar to the variable, so that I'm not going to discuss. Okay, it is again number, data, table, object, or boolean. And the direction we are getting basically here: in direction, out direction, in and out direction, and this property direction. So this in direction means if you want to utilize that particular argument only inside this single workflow, then we have to use the in. Out means if you want to utilize that data outside that particular file, then we have to use the out. And if you want to utilize both inside and outside, then we have to use the in and out. This property is nowadays obsolete. Only this 3 direction has been used. Okay. So this is your argument panel. Okay. So again, you can see here, this is the screenshot. So again, I'm going to discuss the 4 different fields. Like the name field, a name field is similar to the variable, and again it is mandatory. And it would be better if you follow the naming convention. Again, it is recommended. If you follow the naming convention, that is good. If you do not follow, then that is not going to get you any kind of error. But that will not reflect the action taken. Then, if somebody from the outside the project who is not working in that particular project will look into that naming convention, then he will not be able to recognize what action is basically taken and what is the project. So in that case, we have to follow the naming convention, and naming convention will be similar to the variable. So next is the direction, and it is also a mandatory field which enables us to select a direction for our argument. And we have in, out, okay, and in, out. So in means this direction means that the argument can only be used within the given workflow. Out means the direction. This means that argument can be used to pass data outside the given workflow. In, out means this direction means that argument can be used within and outside the given workflow. And the property I've already told you, this is not currently in use. And again, the type will be similar to the variable, and that will be depend on the data types. So that we can easily do. We can select, and again the default field is similar to the variable. Okay, and it is an optional field. So out of the 4 fields in this argument, we have to choose the argument naming convention. Then direction. This is again very important. Without selecting the direction, we'll get the error. Okay, and then the type. So now we'll see how to use an argument. Okay, we'll see one example. So this argument example is little tricky. It's not difficult, but little tricky. So you just pay attention so that you can easily understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll basically create 2 arguments. One is with the direction in, and second with the direction out. Okay, we can also take one more argument with both that will have both direction, that is in and out. But for this example, I'm only going to use the 2 argument, one with the in direction and one second with the out direction, so that we can easily perform the example, and we can easily understand how this is going to be work. Is this definition clear to all of you? Is the major difference between variable and argument, so that I can proceed with the example?
Yes,
This
sir.
is, this is very important, and this argument concept is going to be utilized in the coming session. Okay, so you have to be like clear at this moment only. Otherwise, in the coming session, whenever this argument will be utilized, then it would be difficult on your parts to understand those topics. It is tricky, but it is not difficult. Again, I'm saying. So I'm going to explain the this how to use the example. That means for that I will create two arguments, one with the in direction and second with the out direction. Okay. So we'll see that the argument with in direction will not pass the data from one sequence to another, but argument with the sorry, but argument with the direction having out will pass the data from one sequence to another sequence. So you can see here I'm going to create a I'm going to create a sequence file here, sequence 4. You can see here. So this is our sequence 4. Later on, I will also create a sequence file. Then I will show you how we can pass the data that we have stored with the help of argument in sequence 4 is going to pass the data from 4 to 5. You have to only focus on the sequence 4 and later on the sequence 5. So So now, starting with the example, I'm going to create two different assign activity here. Okay, so here assign activity I have chosen. So in these two different assign activity, what I will do, I will create two different arguments. Okay, so first argument will be like in argument, and second argument will be out argument. Here, so I have to write some value here. So that will be in the double quotes. That example of in argument. Okay, example of in argument. Okay, and the two field, what I will write, I will create the argument from the argument panel. Okay, so I'm going to create the argument as the argument in. Okay, so this is our in argument. Direction will be like in, and then type is string. You can see here the text I have entered here text in the value field. Therefore, the type will be string. That is fine, and then okay, that is created here. And again, you have to write here argin that you have created here. So here I have created the argument in, and here we have given the value. Again, similarly, what I will do here, I will write here the example of out argument. Okay. And then again, I will open this and I will create an argument with the arg out. Okay, following the naming convention, and direction I'm going to give this out. You can see here type is string, that is fine. Close this panel and again write here the name of the created argument out. Okay, so that is done. So you can see here two field argument in, value example of in argument, and argument out and example of out argument. Okay, so what I want to show, that once we'll transfer this data, so we'll see that this particular argument in data will not pass to the next file, but this argument out is going to be passed to the next sequence file. Okay, so this is done. Now we'll connect one message box. We'll collect one message box so that we can display the message of this argument in and argument out. Okay, so argument in plus comma separated. I have provided comma between the two, and then plus arg out. It is done. So this is our one sequence file. So let me just save and run this. So till now what I've not uh, so you can see here example of in argument, example of out argument. Okay. Okay. So this is our single bot, or you can say the single sequence 4 file in which I have created two different argument in and argument out. Now what I am going to do, I am going to create a new sequence file, and then I want to transfer the data with the help of argument. Okay, and I want to check whether this in argument data is going to be passed, or whether our out argument data is going to be passed. But by with the help of the theoretical discussion that we have done previously, we have come to know that only the data of this argument out is going to be passed from sequence 4 to the sequence 5, but this argument in data will not pass. But let, however, cross check so that we can be sure that our theoretical discussion has correct. So again, I will create this sequence 5. Okay, and then we have to, our task is to import the data from 4 to 5. To import the data or to pass the data from 4 to 5, we have to use one more activity, and that activity name is invoke workflow. Okay, so we have to open the activity panel and we have to search here invoke, INVOAE, invoke workflow file. That we have to invoke the workflow that where we have created the arguments. So here we have created this invoke. So what we can see here in this invoke workflow file, we have to provide the path of that particular file from where we have to transfer the data. Okay, that means we have to provide the path of sequence 4. So here we'll open this. Okay, so from here we have to select this sequence 4 because you have created the argument in this sequence 4 file. Okay, so this is done. Now we have to go to the import arguments. Once you go to this import argument, you will get the argument that you have created. Okay, so you can see here you will get those argument automatically here. So I want to import both the arguments. Okay, so I will use this argument in, argument out. And now the second more important thing is that this argument in and out is going to be utilized in the as the variable for the sequence 5, because once the data will be passed from 4 to 5, that passed data is going to be used as the variable for the sequence 5 file. So for sequence 4, I will just write here variable 1, okay, vacuum. Okay, then here again where out. So we have So no problem. Let me check. We are getting some error. So I have imported the argument here. To import the argument, what I have done, I have created thus I have used the invoke workflow file, and from this invoke workflow file, I have passed the path of that file from where I want to import the arguments. Then once you will use this, you will get import argument option, and there you have to choose both the argument, okay, and then using this control key, we have to just simply press OK, and then this both the arguments has been passed successfully here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect one message box so that we can check whether this okay. So now I'm going to print both the variable so that I can check whether. So what I have done, I have imported the arguments, okay, and then argument in is the direction in string, and then in the default value section, I have created one variable with the name variable1 by using control and K, and then for this argument out, I have created the variable variable2. So this variable1 and variable2 will take the data from argument. Okay, so we have to cross check whether this variable1 will have any data. If variable1 will have any data, that means we are doing something wrong, because the type of this argument in that supposed to be not pass the data from sequence 4 to 5. But variable 2, we are getting the data for this variable 2 from argument out, and the direction is out. That means we are getting the data from argument out whose direction is out. That means if you run this sequence 5 file or execute the sequence 5 file, we should only get the data for this variable 2. Then only we can say that this is working properly. That means the definition that we have learned earlier, that means the argument out is only pass the data from one to another file, is correct. Okay, and the argument is only used to pass the data within a single file. So I'm going to save this and then run. Then we can see whether this is working properly or not. So first it will execute the sequence 4. Okay, you can see example of in argument, example of out argument, then it will execute the sequence 5. You can see here we are getting only example of out argument. Here we are not. You can see here in the 5 sequence 5 I have used both the variable, but I am getting the output only for the out argument. I am not getting the output for the in argument. That means that what we have learned theoretically is also correct. That means argument out is only used to pass the data from one to another. You can see here. Here I am not created any variable. Okay. Here I have not created any. I have not added any activity to create the variable. Okay, simply what I have done, I have utilized this argument as the variable for this second workflow file, or if you say this fifth sequence file. So you can see here how the argument is used to pass the data from one file to another. Is it clear? It was little tricky, but it was easy if you understand. If you easily understand the concept and topic, then you can easily perform the examples. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
this is
sir.
all about the argument. Okay.
Sir, if I want to
Yes.
print a variable 1 also, I need to give argument 1 as a out, right? Instead of in.
Yes. If you want to print variable 1 also, then you have to provide the direction as out. Or you can also, what you can do, you can also you have to choose change the direction from in to in and out. Okay, that means that is going to be utilized
Okay.
inside sequence 4 as well as outside sequence 4. Is it clear? That means here, from here we have to change the direction from in to in and out. So you can see here, we can also do this. So I have changed the argument in from direction from in to in and out so that we can see. Then in that case, data will be passed to the. So just save it. Okay. So I have saved this, and then simply run this. So we can see that then the data of argument in is also going to. So this is the output of the first, 4 sequence file. Once I will press this. So again, we have to import here also. So let me. What I have done, I have actually I have changed the direction from in to in and out. Now I'm importing this both. Okay, that is okay, fine. Now we have to give this variable here. So again, control K variable 1. That is done. And then now once we'll run this, you can see we'll get the both output. This is both, and again this is both. That means we are getting example of in as well as example of out argument. Okay, so that means now once you change the direction from in to in and out, then that is going to pass the data. Is it fine, sir?
Yes, sir, I got it. One more question I have, sir. In message box, you are using variable +1 plus variable 2 in a
Yes.
sequence 5. In
Yes.
sequence 4, if you check, you are using variable 1, comma, variable 2.
Yes, yes. So that is just to provide the comma between these two different messages. That is nothing.
It is nothing but concatenation, or it is just
Concatenation, simply concatenation. If you want to provide comma, if you want to provide comma here, you can also provide. Then the message will be displayed with a comma. Just to like I have purposely not provided comma here so that we can easily understand. In the first, that is the output of the first message box, or you can say the output of the sequence 4 message box, and this is the output of sequence 5 message box. Got it?
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you, sir.
So this is all about the today's session. I tried to explain all the topics of the sequence variable argument in a very smooth way, in a very like simplified way, so that it can be easily understandable to all of you. So hope you all understand the topics very easily, and I try to cover as many examples as I can. And in case if you have any problem, then you can refer the e-content portal, and you can at the end of the today's session you can also go for the assignment, those 5 questions assignment. Okay, so this is all about the session. If you any one of you any doubt, then you can ask. Otherwise, I'm going to end the session, and again the second session will start from 12. Okay. So today all the session will held as per the timetable. Okay. So, any clarification? Any doubt?
No, sir.
So thank you all for your patience listening, and again some next expert will meet you in the second session with a different topic. Okay, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.